A snowy morning, awards for Barnstable, a key arrest by the Street Crime Unit, and Senator Sen Wolf reflects on the presidential inauguration. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, January 22nd, 2013. I'm Sarah Colvin. Barnstable residents woke up this morning to a winter wonderland, a beautiful glittery covering of snow that didn't really disturb our normal routine. Schools are in session and the roads were, for the most part, clear. We checked in with Assistant Town Manager Mark Ells for a check of the roads this morning.
We went out late yesterday and treated the mains and collectors to try to minimize any icing on those roadways, during and post-storm. And deployed our crews after midnight last night and got all the mains and collectors, cleared down to pavement, treated them. Again, we started secondary roads and parking lots, so we were looking in pretty good shape. We were very fortunate that we only got 2 to 3 inches. And certainly the storm subsided.
Ells says the Highway Division continues to advertise for snow and ice contractors for storm cleanup.
We keep that posted throughout the snow and ice season, and we're always looking for qualified contractors to come in. Everything from a smaller size truck to secondary roads to large equipment. So, if you're interested, then they should call our Highway Division at 508-790-6330. And staff will direct you to the right person, and you can find out if they need the various equipment or other that you may have.
You can visit the town's website for more information. Chief of Police Paul McDonald says the Street Crime Unit made a key arrest last Thursday on Woodland Avenue in Hyannis.
Christopher Wilkins was arrested last Thursday afternoon by the Street Crime Unit down on Woodbury Avenue off of Hyannis. C Street is one of those neighborhoods that we've spent a lot of time in. We've dedicated a lot of resources down into that neighborhood, and we pretty much eradicated any problems that were down there. So we want to make sure nothing comes back. But Mr. Wilkins, he has a long history with us. He's attached to Ilya Zenov. He was involved in a home invasion out in Masters Mills approximately 5 years ago. He did time for that. He's out, and he was back in that area again, and the Street Crime Unit picked him up. They picked him up immediately. They got him a good pinch. They got him for distribution of heroin and cocaine, plus $2,800 in cash. And what's important about this particular arrest, Mr. Wilkins, he personifies the type of person that the Street Crime Unit was created for and to combat. He's one of those career criminals.
The chief explains why this is such a key grab.
And this particular gentleman, if you look back and if you look at his track record, the types of crimes that he's been involved with, it's the serious the felony assaults, the assault with the handguns, the assault with a baseball bat or a bottle. He's got a long and dangerous history. But this is the exact person we're looking for because of the association that he has with all our Part 1 crimes. So with him off the street, it's going to make a difference, and with his record, we should be able to keep him off the street this time.
Wilkins is being held at this time. Well, Ridgewood Park in Hyannis will get some much-needed TLC thanks to a $200,000 Gateway Cities grant given to the town recently. Director of Growth Management Joanne Miller-Buntich talks about plans for the park.
What we found was even though the park, when you drive by, it doesn't look as if it's well used. We found that the neighborhoods are very attached to the park and do use it quite a bit. And their input was that they wanted it freshened up. They wanted it. A lot of the items that were there, very simple items. There's just a swing there now. There is a poured basketball court, or what used to be a basketball court. They'd like that taken up. They just really are looking for grass, things that can be easily maintained, things that, of course, one of the things that you always look for in a park in an urban setting are a very open landscape. You don't want anything dense and places where things can be secreted. And so the other thing they're looking for is maybe some annual flower beds. Very, very simple walking paths going through. They'd also like, there's a street. It's sort of a grid of a park, and there's Maple Street, I believe, goes through the middle, and they'd like that lifted up and the park unified into one. So we'll be looking into all of those things and involving the neighborhood once again as we finalize the details.
Buntich hopes to begin that project this summer. She's also pleased that Barnstable is the recipient of a Commonwealth Award.
There's so thrilled to be selected as a recipient for the creative community and the Commonwealth Award. And what I personally really like about this recognition is that we're going to be able to recognize the long history of people who worked to develop, to begin to develop the arts and culture program that we have today, and the early recognition that this was a way not only of providing an attraction for residents and visitors, but of enriching the community and enriching downtown Hyannis, so that people would enjoy it more as a place to live and work and play. And so there's a long history that goes into that.
That award will be presented at the State House in Boston next month. Cape and Island State Senator Dan Wolf was in Washington this weekend with his family to witness the presidential inauguration. Wolf talks about his experience in D.C.
The term vibes doesn't come up very often in politics, but I think that as you walk around the city, the energy and the vibes are so positive when you're here in person. Everybody is smiling at each other. People really have united because most of the people there are there to inaugurate, one party and one person. So it really is a feeling of unity and happiness, and I think everybody is very optimistic. I think the speech he gave was optimistic. So, there's a real sense of unity and vision and hope as people are walking around. But again, it's everybody is smiling. You bump into somebody, there's no, oh my God, why'd you bump into me? Everybody just sort of turns around and smiles and says hello. The security is awesome, and it's almost overwhelming how much security there is.
The senator says he got a chance to talk with others who were there who shared their reasons for traveling to the Capitol.
I think people felt like they're really a part of history. I think one of the things about the inauguration is that it really is a celebration of the entire history of the country, the peaceful transfer of power. Everybody talks about it, but when you're there, you really do sense it. That I don't know that there's another country in the world that has had the long string of peaceful transfer of power without regard to the rancor during the actual campaigns and without regard to the tension and division in our political system day in and day out. Everybody does come together and says, we transfer power in a peaceful way. We do maintain a system that we all believe in ultimately. And today, of course, we're back into the disagreements. But so talking to people, I think that everybody comes together around that. There's no winners and losers in the big picture. We're all winners because we're part of that system. And I think that really that's a universal feeling down here.
Wolf talks about what he took away from listening to the president and witnessing the inauguration.
The message when he spoke yesterday was certainly not a partisan message. We all want to live in a world where everybody has access to the best possible education, where everybody, if they work hard, can actually achieve the American dream, where we protect our environment, where we build an infrastructure around technology, around transportation, around energy, that is the launch pad for those great entrepreneurial minds and spirits. So, these are universal beliefs. How to get there, I think, is where we start to have our disagreements and see the world with a different perspective. But what I thought was neat was we not only came together to celebrate a system which has survived so well and evolved and continues to improve itself, but also around ideals that I think are universal ideals. When we wake up in the next morning and say, okay, that all sounds great, now how do we pay for it? How do we get there? What's the leadership that will actually be effective? That's a different question, but I think we all rally around some universal beliefs.
The inauguration, of course, took place yesterday in Washington, D.C. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.